Dr. Amelia Ross was alone in her lab, surrounded by the quiet hum of machines. It was late, and she was the only one left. She stared at her computer screen, typing quickly. She felt a mix of excitement and nerves. After many years of hard work, she was on the brink of a major discovery. Amelia believed in time travel. She wanted to prove it was possible. As a dedicated physicist with a passion for history, she felt like she didn't belong in her own time. She yearned to see the events she had only read about in books. Her dream was to experience history firsthand, to understand the past, not just through books, but through her own eyes. She double-checked her calculations. Everything had to be perfect. She pressed a button and the machine roared to life. The lab was filled with a bright blue light. A small, glowing circle appeared on the floor. A wormhole, stable and about the size of a basketball. "Unbelievable," she whispered, her eyes wide with awe. She scribbled notes in her diary. April 14th, 2024, created a stable wormhole today. It seems time travel is possible, more tests needed, but it's a promising start. Amelia was cautious but thrilled by the potential of her discovery. She could explore any era, learn secrets from the past, and witness historical events no one today had seen. With a mixture of excitement and caution, she picked up a coin and tossed it into the glowing wormhole. It vanished instantly. She set a timer and waited, every second stretching longer than the last. Finally, the timer beeped, and the coin reappeared, clinking softly as it hit the floor. Amelia picked it up, her hands trembling. "It worked!" she exclaimed, hardly believing her success. It actually worked. She quickly documented everything, noting the time and specifics of what had happened. The experiment proved her theory was on the right track. If a coin could travel through time and return, what else might be possible? Exhausted but unable to contain her excitement, Amelia decided it was time to rest. She shut down her equipment and left the lab, her mind buzzing with plans for what to do next. Tomorrow she would conduct a bigger test. Tomorrow she would take the first step into a new world. The next morning, Amelia woke up with excitement. She couldn't stop thinking about the wormhole and her successful test with the coin. Today, she planned to try something bigger. In her lab, Amelia set up the machine again. She carefully checked all the settings. She picked up another coin, identical to the one she used last night. If this test worked too, her discovery would be real. Amelia took a deep breath and tossed the coin into the wormhole. It vanished instantly. She set a timer and waited. This time she felt more confident, but the waiting still made her nervous. As she waited, she wrote in her diary, April 15th, 2024, second test with the wormhole. Sent another coin, waiting for its return. Everything looks stable so far. The minutes ticked by slowly. Amelia paced around the lab, thinking about all the places and times she could visit. Ancient Egypt, the Renaissance, the future. There were so many options. Finally, her timer beeped. She rushed to the spot where the coin had disappeared. Just as she hoped, the coin reappeared and fell to the floor. Amelia picked it up, smiling with relief and excitement. The test was a success. She quickly wrote down her observations, making sure to record every detail. The wormhole was stable and the objects she sent through it returned safely. She knew she was ready for the next step. Amelia decided to try sending something more complex through the wormhole. She looked around the lab and spotted a small toy car on her desk. It was a simple item, but it would be a good test. She carefully placed the car on the edge of the wormhole and gave it a gentle push. The car rolled forward and vanished. Amelia set her timer again and waited. This time, she felt more confident. The wormhole had worked twice, and she believed it would work again. As she waited, she continued to write in her diary. April 15th, 2024. Third test with a wormhole. Sent a small toy car. Feeling more confident now, the wormhole seems stable and reliable. Waiting for the car to return. The minutes passed, and Amelia's excitement grew. She knew that if the car returned safely, it would be a big step forward. It would mean that she could send more complex objects and eventually, maybe even herself. Finally, her timer beeped again. Amelia held her breath as she watched the spot where the car had disappeared. Slowly, the car reappeared and rolled to a stop. She picked it up, feeling a surge of triumph. The test had worked perfectly. Amelia quickly wrote down her observations, her hands shaking with excitement. April 15, 2024. Third test successful. The car returned safely. The wormhole is stable and reliable. Next step, preparing for a human test. She knew she had to be careful and take things slowly, but for the first time she felt truly hopeful. Time travel was no longer just a dream. It was real, and she was ready to explore it further. That night, Amelia couldn't sleep. Her mind was filled with thoughts of the wormhole and the tests she had done. She kept thinking about the next steps. It was time to start planning for a human test. The next morning, Amelia went back to her lab. She felt a mix of excitement and nervousness. Today she would prepare for the biggest test of all, sending herself through the wormhole. First, she made sure all her equipment was in perfect condition. She checked the machine, the computer, and the wormhole itself. Everything seemed stable and ready. Then she began to prepare herself. She packed a small bag with essentials: water, food, a first aid kit, and of course, her diary. She needed to document everything just like she had with the earlier tests. As she packed, she couldn't help but feel a little scared. What if something went wrong? What if she couldn't come back? But she pushed those thoughts aside. She had to focus on the possibilities, not the risks. Amelia sat down and wrote in her diary, April 16th, 2024. Preparing for a human test. I will be the first person to travel through the wormhole. I have checked everything. The wormhole is stable. I am ready. With everything packed and ready, Amelia took a deep breath and approached the wormhole. The blue light glowed softly, almost invitingly. She felt a surge of determination. This was her moment. She set her timer for 1 hour. If the wormhole worked as she hoped, she would return in exactly 1 hour. She took one last look around her lab, then stepped into the wormhole. There was a brief sensation of being pulled in all directions at once. Then suddenly she found herself standing in a completely different place. The air was warm, and the sky was bright with a sun that felt ancient. Amelia looked around in awe. She was standing in the middle of a bustling city. People were dressed in simple clothes, and the buildings were made of stone. It didn't take long for her to realize where she was. Ancient Egypt, she whispered to herself. She could see the great pyramids in the distance, their massive shapes towering over the landscape. Amelia quickly found a quiet spot and took out her diary. She needed to write everything down while it was still fresh in her mind. April 16th, 2024. I am in ancient Egypt. The wormhole worked. I see the pyramids in the distance. People are everywhere, busy with their daily lives. This is incredible. She spent the next hour exploring the area, taking in the sights and sounds. She saw workers building the pyramids, merchants selling goods, and children playing in the streets. It was like stepping into a history book. As the hour drew to a close, Amelia felt a sense of satisfaction. She had done what no one else had ever done. She had traveled through time and witnessed history firsthand. When her timer beeped, she returned to the spot where she had arrived. With a deep breath, she stepped back into the wormhole. The same strange sensation of being pulled in all directions filled her, and then she was back in her lab. Amelia looked around, hardly able to believe it. She had returned safely. She quickly wrote down her final thoughts in her diary. April 16th, 2024. I have returned safely. The test was a success. Time travel is real, and I have seen it with my own eyes. The possibilities are endless. She felt a rush of excitement. This was only the beginning. She had so much more to explore, so much more to learn. She knew that this was the start of an incredible journey. Amelia woke up the next morning feeling refreshed and ready for her next adventure. She had been thinking a lot about where to go next, and she decided that Renaissance Italy was the perfect choice. The art, the culture, and the innovation of that time fascinated her. She packed her backpack with care, making sure she had everything she needed. Her diary, camera, food, water, and a few other essentials were all neatly packed. She set the coordinates for Florence, Italy, during the Renaissance. Taking a deep breath, she stepped into the wormhole. The familiar pulling sensation surrounded her, and then she found herself standing in a beautiful city. The buildings were tall and elegant, and the streets were filled with people. There was music in the air and the smell of fresh bread from the market. "Florence," Amelia whispered to herself, feeling a rush of excitement. She had made it to one of the most famous cities of the Renaissance. Amelia walked through the busy streets, taking in the sights and sounds. She saw artists painting in the open air, merchants selling their goods, and people chatting happily. The city was full of life and energy. She found a quiet spot to sit and write in her diary. April 25th, 2024. I am in Florence, Italy during the Renaissance. The city is beautiful, full of art and music. People are busy with their daily lives. I feel so excited to be here and see everything. Amelia continued to explore the city. She visited the market and saw all kinds of goods for sale: fruits, vegetables, spices, and handmade items. She watched a street performer playing the lute, the music lively and cheerful. She even saw a group of children playing a game in the street. Everywhere she looked, there was something amazing to see. The buildings were decorated with beautiful artwork, and the people wore colourful clothes. It was like stepping into a painting. As she walked, Amelia came across a large building with a sign that read, Studio di Leonardo da Vinci. Her heart skipped a beat. Leonardo da Vinci was one of the greatest minds of the Renaissance, and she couldn't believe she had the chance to see his studio. She stood outside the studio for a moment, feeling both excited and nervous. She knew this was a rare opportunity to learn from one of the greatest artists and inventors of all time. She took a deep breath and stepped inside. The studio was filled with drawings, paintings, and models of inventions. Leonardo himself was there, working on a painting. He was surrounded by students who watched him with admiration and respect. Amelia watched in awe as Leonardo worked. His skill and creativity were incredible. She took out her diary and wrote quickly, trying to capture the moment. April 25th, 2024. I am in Leonardo da Vinci's studio. He is working on a painting. The room is full of his drawings and models. It's amazing to see his talent and creativity. She spent the rest of the day observing Leonardo and his students. She listened to their discussions about art and science, feeling inspired by their passion and knowledge. She took notes, trying to absorb as much as she could. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She left the studio with a sense of awe and gratitude. She had seen one of the greatest minds of all time at work, and it was an experience she would never forget. She made her way back to the spot where she had arrived and stepped into the wormhole. The pulling sensation took over, and then she was back in her lab. Amelia quickly wrote down her final thoughts for the day. April 25th, 2024. Returned from Florence. Today was incredible. I saw Leonardo da Vinci's studio and watched him work. The city is full of art and life. I feel so inspired and grateful for this experience. She felt a deep sense of satisfaction and excitement. Her journey through time was teaching her so much, and she couldn't wait for her next adventure. She looked forward to exploring more of the past and learning from the great minds of history. Amelia was eager to return to Florence and learn more about the Renaissance. She packed her bag and set the coordinates for Leonardo da Vinci's studio once again. With a deep breath, she stepped into the wormhole and soon found herself back in the lively streets of Florence. Amelia made her way to Leonardo's studio, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. She wondered if she would have a chance to speak with him. As she arrived, she saw Leonardo standing outside talking to a group of students. She waited patiently, hoping for an opportunity to introduce herself. When the students left, Amelia gathered her courage and approached Leonardo. "Hello, Master Leonardo," she said, bowing slightly. "My name is Amelia. I'm a traveller and very interested in your work." Leonardo looked at her curiously. "A traveller? From where?" he asked, his eyes bright with interest. "From far away," Amelia replied, choosing her words carefully. I have heard many stories about your inventions and your art. I would love to learn more about them. Leonardo smiled warmly. You are welcome to visit my studio, Amelia. I am always happy to share my ideas with those who are curious. Amelia followed him inside, feeling a sense of awe and excitement. The studio was filled with drawings, paintings, and models of various inventions. Leonardo began to show her some of his latest projects, explaining his ideas and the science behind them. This is a model of a flying machine, Leonardo said, pointing to a wooden model with wings. I believe that humans can learn to fly by studying the birds. Amelia listened intently, amazed by his creativity and knowledge. Your ideas are truly incredible, Master Leonardo, she said. Have you ever thought about how your inventions might change the future? Leonardo looked thoughtful. I have always believed that knowledge and invention can improve our lives, he said. But I cannot see the future. I can only hope that my work will inspire others. Amelia smiled, feeling a connection with him. Your work has already inspired many, including me, she said. I am grateful for the chance to learn from you. They spent the rest of the day discussing various topics, from art and science to philosophy and the mysteries of the natural world. Amelia found Leonardo to be not only a brilliant inventor, but also a kind and thoughtful person. As the day turned to evening, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked Leonardo for his time and his wisdom. Thank you, Master Leonardo, she said. I have learned so much from you today. Your ideas will stay with me forever. Leonardo smiled and nodded. It was a pleasure to share my work with you, Amelia. I wish you safe travels on your journey. Amelia left the studio feeling a deep sense of gratitude and inspiration. She made her way back to the spot where she had arrived and stepped into the wormhole, returning to her lab. Back in her lab, she quickly wrote down her experiences in her diary. April 26, 2024. Returned from another day in Florence, met Leonardo da Vinci and discussed his inventions and ideas. He is not only brilliant, but also kind. I feel so inspired by his work and our conversations. The next morning, Amelia was full of thoughts about her conversations with Leonardo da Vinci. His ideas were so advanced and his curiosity so boundless that she felt an urge to share some of her own knowledge with him. But she knew the risks involved in changing the past. Amelia set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole once again, arriving in Florence. She made her way to Leonardo's studio, her mind racing with possibilities. When she arrived, Leonardo greeted her warmly. Amelia, welcome back, he said. I was hoping you would return. I have many more things to show you. Amelia smiled, feeling both excited and anxious. She followed him into the studio, where he showed her new sketches and models. As they talked, Amelia felt a strong temptation to tell him about the future. She wanted to share her knowledge of inventions that had yet to be discovered. Master Leonardo, she began, choosing her words carefully. Have you ever wondered what the future might hold for your inventions? Leonardo looked at her with keen interest. I think about it often, he said. I hope that one day my work will help others to make new discoveries. Amelia took a deep breath. What if I told you that some of your ideas will indeed come to life in the future? What if I could tell you how to make them work? Leonardo's eyes widened with curiosity. That would be incredible, Amelia. But how could you know such things? Amelia hesitated. She knew that sharing too much could alter the course of history in ways she couldn't predict. She felt a heavy responsibility to preserve the integrity of the past. Let's just say that I have a unique perspective, she replied carefully. But I must be careful about what I share. It's important that the future unfolds naturally without too much interference. Leonardo nodded thoughtfully. I understand, Amelia. Knowledge is a powerful thing, and it must be used wisely. I appreciate your caution. Relieved that Leonardo understood, Amelia decided to change the subject. Tell me more about your current projects, Master Leonardo. I am eager to learn from you. Leonardo smiled and led her to a large table covered with drawings. This is a design for a new kind of bridge, he said. It uses a unique structure to distribute weight more evenly. Amelia listened and asked questions, immersing herself in his world of creativity and innovation. She felt a deep respect for Leonardo's dedication and vision. As the day went on, Amelia realized that she had made the right decision. It was better to learn and observe without interfering. She wrote down her thoughts in her diary. April 27, 2024, returned to Florence, felt tempted to share future knowledge with Leonardo, but decided against it. It's important to let history unfold naturally. Spent the day learning from Leonardo's current projects. His creativity and vision are truly inspiring. As the sun began to set, Amelia thanked Leonardo for another enlightening day. Thank you, Master Leonardo. Your work continues to inspire me. Leonardo smiled warmly. It has been a pleasure, Amelia. I hope you will return again. There is always more to discover. Amelia nodded and made her way back to the wormhole. She felt a mix of emotions: gratitude for the experiences and a sense of responsibility for preserving the past. She stepped into the wormhole and returned to her lab. Back in her lab, she wrote down her final thoughts for the day. April 27, 2024. Today was a lesson in restraint. I felt the urge to share future knowledge but chose to preserve the natural course of history. Learning from Leonardo has been a remarkable experience. I look forward to my next journey. The following day, Amelia woke up with renewed excitement. She wondered what new wonders and lessons awaited her in Florence. She packed her backpack with care, making sure her diary and camera were ready, and stepped into the wormhole once more. Arriving in Florence, she made her way to Leonardo's studio. The streets were as lively as ever, filled with the sounds of merchants calling out their wares and children playing. As she approached the studio, she saw Leonardo working intensely on a large canvas. "Good morning, Master Leonardo," she greeted him. Leonardo looked up and smiled. "Good morning, Amelia. You've come at a perfect time. I am working on something very special today." Amelia's curiosity was piqued. She watched as Leonardo carefully mixed colors and applied them to the canvas with deliberate, graceful strokes. The painting was of a woman with a mysterious smile, and Amelia quickly realized she was witnessing the creation of the Mona Lisa. "This is incredible," she whispered to herself, her eyes wide with wonder. She took out her diary and began to document the moment. April 28, 2024, witnessing Leonardo da Vinci paint the Mona Lisa. His technique is amazing. The colors and details are so vivid. I feel so lucky to be here at this moment. As she watched Leonardo work, Amelia felt a deep sense of awe. She could see the concentration and passion in his eyes as he painted. She knew she was witnessing a significant moment in art history. Leonardo glanced at her and smiled. "This painting is very important to me," he said. "I want to capture the essence of the human spirit." "You are doing a wonderful job, Master Leonardo," Amelia replied. "The Mona Lisa is truly beautiful." They continued to talk as Leonardo painted, discussing art, life, and the mysteries of the human soul. Amelia felt a profound connection with him, inspired by his dedication and vision. As the day came to an end, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked Leonardo for allowing her to witness such a remarkable moment. "Thank you, Master Leonardo. Today has been truly inspiring," she said. Leonardo nodded and smiled warmly. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. I hope you will return again." Amelia left the studio feeling a deep sense of gratitude and inspiration. She made her way back to the spot where she had arrived and stepped into the wormhole, returning to her lab. Back in her lab, she quickly wrote down her final thoughts for the day. April 28, 2024, returned from Florence. Today was incredible. I witnessed Leonardo da Vinci painting the Mona Lisa. His skill and dedication are truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have been part of this moment. Amelia felt a deep sense of satisfaction and excitement. Her journey through time was teaching her so much, and she couldn't wait for her next adventure. April 28, 2024, returned from Florence, witnessed Leonardo da Vinci paint the Mona Lisa. It was incredible to see such a famous work of art being created. His dedication and skill are truly inspiring. Amelia leaned back in her chair, deep in thought. She knew she had to remain an observer, but the ethical dilemmas were becoming more challenging. She had to find a way to balance her curiosity and her responsibility. She decided to take a walk to clear her mind. She left her lab and walked through the quiet streets of her city. The cool evening air felt refreshing, and she tried to focus on the present moment, but her thoughts kept drifting back to Florence and Leonardo. As she walked, she thought about how much she admired Leonardo's creativity and dedication. She wondered what other great minds she could learn from in the past. There were so many possibilities, and she felt excited about the future. When she returned to her lab, she felt a little better. She knew she had to keep going, to keep exploring and learning. But she also knew she needed to be careful to respect the lives and experiences of the people she encountered. She sat down at her desk and wrote some final thoughts in her diary. April 28, 2024, reflecting on my journey today. The past is full of beauty and challenges. I must remember to observe and learn, but also to respect the people and their stories. This journey is teaching me so much, not just about history, but about humanity. Amelia closed her diary and took a deep breath. She knew her journey through time would not always be easy, but she was committed to it. She wanted to understand the past, to learn from it, and to share those lessons with others. She spent the rest of the evening planning her next trip. She thought about where she wanted to go and what she wanted to learn. The possibilities were endless, and she felt a renewed sense of purpose. As she prepared for bed, she felt a mix of excitement and determination. Her journey was just beginning, and she knew there was so much more to discover. She was ready for whatever came next, ready to face the challenges and the wonders of the past. The next morning, Amelia woke up with excitement. She decided it was time to return to ancient Egypt. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she was standing in the hot, sunny world of the pyramids. This time, she wanted to get closer to the people in power. She walked carefully, trying to find a spot where she could observe without being noticed. She saw a group of people gathering near a large tent and decided to watch from a distance. After a few minutes, a tall man dressed in fine clothes stepped out of the tent. He was surrounded by guards and advisors. Amelia realized he must be the pharaoh. She watched as he spoke to his advisors, giving them instructions. His presence was commanding, and everyone around him listened carefully. Amelia knew she had to be careful. She didn't want to draw attention to herself, but she was eager to learn more. She moved a little closer, trying to hear what the pharaoh was saying. To her surprise, the pharaoh noticed her. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice strong but curious. Amelia felt a rush of nerves. "I am a traveler," she said, keeping her story simple. "I am very interested in the great work being done here." The pharaoh looked at her for a moment, then nodded. "Come closer," he said. "I will speak with you." Amelia stepped forward, feeling both excited and nervous. The pharaoh's guards watched her closely, but the pharaoh himself seemed calm and curious. "What is your name?" he asked. "Amelia," she replied. "Amelia, you are witnessing history," the pharaoh said. "We are building these pyramids for the gods and for the afterlife. They are a testament to our power and our faith." Amelia listened intently, fascinated by his words. "It is amazing work," she said. "Can you tell me more about your vision for Egypt?" The pharaoh smiled, pleased by her interest. "Our vision is one of greatness," he said. "We believe in preparing for the afterlife, in building monuments that will last forever. The pyramids are a symbol of our strength and our devotion. They will stand long after we are gone." Amelia wrote down his words in her diary, eager to capture every detail. April 29th, 2024. Met the pharaoh today. He spoke about his vision for Egypt and the afterlife. The pyramids are a testament to their power and faith. They believe in building monuments that will last forever. The pharaoh continued to talk about his plans for Egypt, his hopes for his people, and his dedication to the gods. Amelia was struck by his passion and his belief in what he was doing. It was clear that he saw the pyramids not just as buildings, but as a way to achieve immortality. "Thank you for sharing your thoughts with me," Amelia said. It is an honor to hear your vision. The pharaoh nodded. Remember what you have seen here, traveler, he said. These pyramids will stand as a testament to our greatness for all time. Amelia bowed slightly and stepped back, feeling a deep sense of respect for the pharaoh and his people. She knew she had witnessed something truly special. As the sun began to set, Amelia made her way back to the spot where she had arrived. She took one last look at the incredible scene around her, then stepped into the wormhole and returned to her lab. She quickly wrote down her final thoughts for the day. April 29th, 2024, returned from ancient Egypt, met the pharaoh and heard about his vision for Egypt and the afterlife. It was an incredible experience. The pyramids are more than just buildings, they are a symbol of faith and power. Amelia felt a deep sense of accomplishment. She had learned so much and was eager to continue her journey through time. She looked forward to her next adventure, knowing that there was still so much to discover. Amelia returned to ancient Egypt the next day, feeling more connected to the people she had met and the incredible history she had witnessed. This time, she wanted to spend more time with the workers, learning about their daily lives and struggles. She stepped through the wormhole and found herself back in the hot, dusty landscape of the pyramid construction site. The workers were already busy, moving large stones and building the grand structures that would stand for thousands of years. As she walked among them, she saw familiar faces. There was Hammy, the young man she had spoken to before. He waved at her and she smiled, feeling a sense of connection to him and the other workers. Amelia watched them work, noting the effort and skill involved in every task. She wrote down her observations in her diary, trying to capture the reality of their lives. April 30th, 2024. Back in ancient Egypt. The workers are busy as always. I see familiar faces like Hammy. They work very hard, moving large stones and building the pyramids. It's incredible to see their skill and effort. As the day went on, Amelia noticed a commotion near one of the stone blocks. She moved closer to see what was happening. A group of workers had gathered around and she could hear angry voices. A man was being punished. He was tied to a post. And an overseer was about to whip him. Amelia's heart sank. She didn't know what the man had done, but the punishment seemed harsh. The other workers looked on with a mix of fear and resignation. Amelia felt a strong urge to intervene, to stop the punishment, but she knew she couldn't. She was a traveler from the future and she couldn't change the past. Interfering could have serious consequences. She stood there, torn between her desire to help and her responsibility not to interfere. The overseer raised the whip, and Amelia turned away, unable to watch. She felt a deep sense of sadness and helplessness. April 30th, 2024. Saw a worker being punished today. It was hard to watch. I wanted to help, but I couldn't. I know I can't change the past, but it's difficult to see such harsh treatment. The workers live hard lives and sometimes face cruel punishments. Amelia walked away, feeling heavy-hearted. She knew she had to focus on her mission to observe and learn without changing anything. But the sight of the punishment stayed with her, a reminder of the harsh realities of the past. She spent the rest of the day talking to other workers, trying to understand more about their lives. They spoke of their hopes and dreams, their families, and the pride they felt in their work. Despite the hardships, they found moments of joy and camaraderie. As the sun began to set, Amelia returned to the spot where she had arrived. She took one last look at the workers, feeling a deep respect for their resilience. She stepped into the wormhole and returned to her lab. Back in the safety of her lab, she wrote down her final thoughts for the day. April 30th, 2024. Returned from another day in ancient Egypt, learned more about the workers and their lives, saw the harsh reality of punishment. It was a difficult day, but I'm grateful for the chance to learn and understand more. The next day, Amelia woke up eager to return to Florence. She wanted to learn more about the Renaissance and continue her conversations with Leonardo da Vinci. She packed her bag and set the coordinates, then stepped into the wormhole once more. Arriving in Florence, she headed straight to Leonardo's studio. The streets were lively. filled with merchants, musicians, and people going about their day. When she arrived at the studio, Leonardo greeted her warmly. "Good morning, Amelia. It's good to see you again," he said with a smile. "Good morning, Master Leonardo. I'm excited to learn more from you today," Amelia replied. Leonardo showed her more of his projects. He was working on new sketches and models, each one more fascinating than the last. They spent hours discussing his ideas, from flying machines to innovative bridges. "Your creativity never ceases to amaze me," Amelia said. "Have you ever thought about the impact your inventions might have in the future?" Leonardo looked thoughtful. "I hope my work inspires others to dream and create," he said. "The future is built on the ideas we share today." Amelia felt a strong connection with him. She admired his vision and dedication. As they talked, she felt tempted to share more about the future, but held back, knowing it was best to let history unfold naturally. As the day came to an end, Amelia thanked Leonardo for his time and wisdom. "Thank you, Master Leonardo. Your work continues to inspire me," she said. Leonardo nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. I hope you will return again." Amelia left the studio feeling a deep sense of gratitude and inspiration. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her thoughts. May 1st, 2024, returned from Florence, spent another day with Leonardo da Vinci. His creativity and vision are truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to learn from him. Amelia felt a sense of fulfillment from her travels, but also a sense of responsibility. She knew she had to use her experiences wisely. She decided to take a break from time travel to reflect and plan her next steps. In her lab, she reviewed her notes and thought about her journey so far. She realized that time travel was not just about seeing history, but also about understanding it. She wanted to make sure she respected the past and the people she met. One evening, as she was going through her notes, she thought about visiting another great mind in history. She had always admired Isaac Newton and his contributions to science. She decided to make him her next destination. The next morning, Amelia prepared for her trip to the 17th century. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she found herself in a small English village. She walked through the village, asking for directions to Newton's home. When she arrived, she saw a modest house with a garden full of apple trees. She knocked on the door, feeling both excited and nervous. A young man answered the door. "Hello, can I help you?" he asked. "Hello, my name is Amelia. I'm a traveller and very interested in meeting Isaac Newton," she said. The young man smiled. "You are in luck. I am Isaac Newton. Please, come in." Amelia followed him inside, feeling a sense of awe. The house was simple but filled with books and scientific instruments. Newton led her to a small study where they sat down to talk. "Tell me, Amelia, what brings you here?" Newton asked. "I have always admired your work and wanted to learn more about your discoveries," Amelia replied. Newton smiled. "I am happy to share my knowledge. What would you like to know?" They spent the rest of the day discussing Newton's theories and experiments. Amelia was fascinated by his insights and dedication to understanding the natural world. She took notes, eager to learn as much as she could. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked Newton for his time and knowledge. "Thank you, Mr. Newton. Your work has inspired me greatly," she said. Newton nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. I hope you continue to seek knowledge and understanding." Amelia left Newton's home feeling inspired and grateful. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her experiences. May 2nd, 2024. Met Isaac Newton. Learned about his theories and experiments. His dedication to science is truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity. Back in her lab, Amelia felt a sense of accomplishment. She had learned so much from her travels and felt a deeper understanding of history and the people who shaped it. She decided to take some time to reflect and plan her next journey. She reviewed her notes and thought about the places and times she had visited. Each trip had taught her something valuable, not just about history, but about herself. She realized that her journey was as much about personal growth as it was about exploration. One evening, as she was organizing her notes, she thought about visiting another pivotal moment in history. She decided to visit the early days of the American Revolution. She wanted to witness the birth of a nation and understand the struggles and triumphs of its people. The next morning, Amelia prepared for her trip. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she found herself in a bustling colonial town. She walked through the town, observing the people and their daily lives. The atmosphere was tense, with talk of rebellion and independence in the air. Amelia felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. She made her way to a meeting place where she knew key figures of the revolution often gathered. As she entered, she saw a group of men deep in discussion. She recognized them from history books: George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin. Feeling a mix of nerves and excitement, Amelia approached the group. "Excuse me, sirs, my name is Amelia, and I am a traveller interested in your cause," she said. The men looked at her with curiosity. Franklin was the first to speak. "Welcome, Amelia. We are always eager to share our vision for a free nation. What brings you here?" Amelia smiled. "I have always admired your dedication to independence and wanted to learn more about your plans and challenges." Washington nodded. "We are fighting for our freedom and the right to govern ourselves. It is a difficult struggle, but we believe in our cause." Jefferson added, "We seek to create a nation where all men are free and equal. It is a grand vision, but we are committed to making it a reality." Amelia listened intently, feeling inspired by their passion and determination. She took notes, eager to capture their words and ideas. As the day went on, they discussed their plans for independence, the challenges they faced, and their hopes for the future. Amelia felt a deep sense of respect for their courage and vision. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked them for their time and dedication. "Thank you for sharing your vision with me. I am truly inspired by your commitment to freedom," she said. Franklin nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. We hope you will carry our message of liberty with you." Amelia left the meeting place feeling inspired and grateful. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her experiences. May 3rd, 2024. Met George Washington, Thomas Jefferson, and Benjamin Franklin. Learned about their vision for independence and the challenges they faced. Their dedication to freedom is truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity. Back in her lab, Amelia felt a sense of accomplishment. She had met some of the greatest minds in history and learned so much from them. Each journey had taught her valuable lessons. She felt a deeper connection to history and a greater appreciation for the people who shaped it. One evening, as she was organizing her notes, she thought about visiting another important figure. She decided to visit Albert Einstein. She wanted to understand his theories and the impact they had on the world. The next morning, Amelia prepared for her trip. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she found herself in a small office filled with books and papers. She saw a man sitting at a desk deep in thought. Amelia recognized him immediately. Albert Einstein. She approached him, feeling both excited and nervous. "Excuse me, Mr. Einstein," she said softly. "My name is Amelia, and I am a traveller interested in your work." Einstein looked up and smiled. "Welcome, Amelia. I am always happy to meet someone interested in science. Please, have a seat." Amelia sat down, feeling a sense of awe. The office was filled with books and papers, evidence of Einstein's tireless work. They began to talk, and Einstein explained his theories in a way that was easy to understand. "I have always been fascinated by the nature of the universe," Einstein said. "I believe that understanding the fundamental laws of nature can help us understand everything around us." Amelia listened intently, amazed by his insights. She took notes, eager to learn as much as she could. As the day went on, they discussed his theories of relativity, the nature of light, and the concept of time. Amelia felt inspired by his curiosity and dedication to understanding the universe. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked Einstein for his time and knowledge. "Thank you, Mr. Einstein. Your work has inspired me greatly," she said. Einstein nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. I hope you continue to seek knowledge and understanding." Amelia left Einstein's office feeling inspired and grateful. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her experiences. May 4, 2024. Met Albert Einstein. Learned about his theories of relativity and the nature of the universe. His curiosity and dedication are truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity. Each journey had taught her valuable lessons. She felt a deeper connection to history and a greater appreciation for the people who shaped it. She decided to take a break from time travel to reflect and plan her next steps. She reviewed her notes and thought about her journey so far. She realized that time travel was not just about seeing history, but also about understanding it. She wanted to make sure she respected the past and the people she met. She decided to visit the early days of the space race. She wanted to witness the excitement and challenges of exploring the final frontier. The next morning, Amelia prepared for her trip. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she found herself at a bustling space center.
She walked through the center, observing the scientists and engineers as they worked on their projects. The atmosphere was filled with excitement and anticipation. Amelia felt a sense of awe and admiration for the people who were pushing the boundaries of human knowledge. She made her way to a meeting room where she knew key figures of the space race often gathered. As she entered, she saw a group of men and women deep in discussion. She recognized them from history books: Wernher von Braun, Katherine Johnson, and John Glenn. Feeling a mix of nerves and excitement, Amelia approached the group. "Excuse me, everyone. My name is Amelia, and I am a traveler interested in your work," she said. The group looked at her with curiosity. Von Braun was the first to speak. "Welcome, Amelia. We are always eager to share our vision for space exploration. What brings you here?" Amelia smiled. "I have always admired your dedication to exploring the final frontier and wanted to learn more about your plans and challenges." Johnson nodded. "We are working hard to make space travel a reality. It is a difficult challenge, but we believe in our mission." Glenn added, "We seek to push the boundaries of human knowledge and explore new frontiers. It is an exciting time to be part of this effort." Amelia listened intently, feeling inspired by their passion and determination. She took notes, eager to capture their words and ideas. As the day went on, they discussed their plans for space exploration, the challenges they faced, and their hopes for the future. Amelia felt a deep sense of respect for their courage and vision. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked them for their time and dedication. "Thank you for sharing your vision with me. I am truly inspired by your commitment to exploration," she said. Von Braun nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. We hope you will carry our message of exploration with you." Amelia left the meeting room feeling inspired and grateful. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her experiences. May 5, 2024. Met Wernher von Braun, Katherine Johnson, and John Glenn. Learned about their vision for space exploration and the challenges they faced. Their dedication to pushing the boundaries of human knowledge is truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity. She had learned so much from her travels and felt a deeper understanding of history and the people who shaped it. She decided to take some time to reflect and plan her next journey. She reviewed her notes and thought about the places and times she had visited. Each trip had taught her something valuable, not just about history but about herself. She realized that her journey was as much about personal growth as it was about exploration. One evening, as she was organizing her notes, she thought about visiting another important moment in history. She decided to visit the signing of the Declaration of Independence. She wanted to witness the birth of a nation and understand the struggles and triumphs of its people. The next morning, Amelia prepared for her trip. She set the coordinates and stepped into the wormhole, feeling the familiar pull. A moment later, she found herself in a room filled with men discussing the future of their country. She walked through the room, observing the delegates as they debated and discussed the document that would shape their nation's future. The atmosphere was tense but filled with determination. Amelia felt a sense of excitement and anticipation. She made her way to the front of the room, where she recognized key figures from history: Thomas Jefferson, John Adams, and Benjamin Franklin. Feeling a mix of nerves and excitement, Amelia approached them. "Excuse me, sirs. My name is Amelia, and I am a traveler interested in your work," she said. The men looked at her with curiosity. Jefferson was the first to speak. "Welcome, Amelia. We are always eager to share our vision for a free nation." "What brings you here?" Amelia smiled. "I have always admired your dedication to independence and wanted to learn more about your plans and challenges." Adams nodded. "We are fighting for our freedom and the right to govern ourselves. It is a difficult struggle, but we believe in our cause." Franklin added, "We seek to create a nation where all men are free and equal. It is a grand vision, but we are committed to making it a reality." Amelia listened intently, feeling inspired by their passion and determination. She took notes, eager to capture their words and ideas. As the day went on, they discussed their plans for independence, the challenges they faced, and their hopes for the future. Amelia felt a deep sense of respect for their courage and vision. As the sun began to set, Amelia knew it was time to return. She thanked them for their time and dedication. "Thank you for sharing your vision with me. I am truly inspired by your commitment to freedom," she said. Jefferson nodded. "It has been a pleasure, Amelia. We hope you will carry our message of liberty with you." Amelia left the room feeling inspired and grateful. She made her way back to the wormhole and returned to her lab, quickly writing down her experiences. May 6, 2024, witnessed the signing of the Declaration of Independence. Learned about their vision for a free nation and the challenges they faced. Their dedication to freedom is truly inspiring. I feel so lucky to have had this opportunity. She decided to share her experiences with others, hoping to inspire them with the stories and lessons she had learned from history. Amelia began writing a book, detailing her journeys and the incredible people she had met. She wrote about their visions, challenges, and achievements, hoping to share their stories with the world. As she wrote, she felt a sense of purpose and fulfillment. She knew that her journey was just beginning and that there were still many more adventures ahead. She was excited about the future and the endless possibilities it held. One morning, as she was writing, she received a message from a publisher interested in her book. They were excited about her stories and wanted to help her share them with a wider audience. Amelia felt a surge of joy and gratitude. She knew that her work was making a difference. With the support of the publisher, Amelia's book was soon published. It became a bestseller, inspiring readers with the stories of the great minds and pivotal moments in history.